progress.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Baruchim Haba. We're continuing in Mishnah Berura, Daf HaShavua. We are learning Siman Kuf Yudalid, Seif Gimel. We began it yesterday. The Mechaber said, Amar Mashiv B'Mais HaChama. If you said that Hashem makes the wind blow during the summer, or you didn't say Hashem makes the wind blow in the rainy season, in Machzir, I say you don't go back, because wind and dew are never withheld. V'chein betal. Likewise, duim. Hiskira b'mais hagasham. If you mentioned it in the rainy season, or lo hiskira b'mais hachama in Machzir, I say the dew is not ma'akev. The Mishnah says in Sivkatin Beis, "Oisei va'afilu adayin lo yisiyim habracha." Even if you didn't finish the bracha yet, you don't go back. Me'achar she'en chiyuv klal hasker ruach v'tal olam. Since there's no obligation at all to mention wind and dew, lo hiskirei ha'mechaber ka'azal l'minhag Sfarad. The mechaber is going according to minhag Sfarad. Shenagin l'chadchila l'mard ha'tobi ma'is hachama. That the minhag is l'chadchila to say mard ha'tobi ma'is hachama. Afilu hachi, nevertheless ein machzirin. You don't go back. Me'achar she'chivim chachamim v'zeh. Since the Chachamim did not obligate you to say this. Haga. Va'anu b'nei Ashkenaz. And we b'nei Ashkenaz, loy mazkirin tal. We do not mention dew, loy b'mais hachama, not in the summer, loy b'mais hagashamim. Rak oimrim b'mais hachama. Ata gibar lam Hashem, mechai mesim ata rav lahoishia, mechal kel chayim. We don't say morid ata. B'nai Ashkenaz do not say Marata v'chulu. Yesh oimrim sheshel tzibur poisek. Okay, let's see that in the Mishnah Berura. V'loy b'mais hageshamim v'rak b'she'ela. The Mishnah Berura says Sivkadni Adalid. When we ask anu noigin lavakish gam al hatal, we say v'sein tal umatil vracha. Mibnei she'anu mavakshim shiyu lebracha. Even though dew is never withheld, but it's not always lebracha, so we make sure to ask that it should be lebracha. Ki yesh tal she'ena lebracha. Uv'yimais hachama. And in the summer, af b'she'ela in anu amrim tal, we don't say tal. B'diyaved im amar b'mais hachama. B'diyaved, if you said the words marid hatal, so in other words, someone who davens nusach Ashkenaz, if they accidentally daven nusach Sfarad, don't worry, you'll be yotzei b'diyaved. It's okay. You'll be yotzei b'diyaved. So u'v'diyaved amar b'mais hachama bein b'hazkara bein b'she'ela, whether you mention it or you ask for it. Okay, says the Rama continued. Yesh oimrim sheshliach tzibur poisek lahazker betfilas musaf yom tov harishon shel Pesach. Some say that the shliach tzibur stops mentioning in tfilas musaf of the first day of Pesach during musaf. He stops mentioning Mashiv Mard Hashem. Why? Because the issue is, we're not allowed to stop mentioning until it's announced. But like we mentioned before, you can't say, don't say Mashiv Mard Hashem. So the Shliach Tzibur stops mentioning it. Aval Kol Mazkirin, the Kol mentions it in the Sound Shemon Esrei. Ve'enon Poiskin Ada Mincha. They don't stop until Mincha. Sheshamu Kfar Me HaShliach Tzibur, because they already heard from the Shliach Tzibur, Shepasak B'Tfilas HaMusaf V'chein Noyagin. Says the Mishnah Berura ad mincha b'musaf adayin ein heker la'tzibur. Musaf, there's no heker to the tzibur. V'ayin la b'Mishnah Berura Sivkat and Gimel. We discussed this, that according to Ashkenaz, minhag Ashkenaz, where there is no announcement when it comes to stopping bishlama in minhag Sfarad, you could say morid hatal, but we don't say morid hatal in nusach Ashkenaz. So then they have to wait until they hear it from the tzibur. V'im yachid achar tfilasai eicha. Let's say like this: a guy started Musaf late, so he didn't get a chance to start Musaf until after the Chazan already didn't say Mashiv Mard Hashem in Musaf. Then he will not say Mashiv anymore. V'yachid hadar b'yishuv, an individual who lives in an outlying area. He should try to quickly daven before the shul davens, so that he could not say Mashiv Mard Hashem, like we were medayik yesterday in the Mechaber, that there's an imperative to do the Shemona Esrei the way it's supposed to be done. However, if you daven Nusach Svard, then Davka, you should wait to daven Musaf, because if you daven too early, you might have to still say Mashiach Mar Dagasham. V'nirli dim yesh lo safek pen kvar hispalu. What if you're not sure? You're living in the boondocks. You don't know if the shul davened or not. If the shul davened, then you don't say Mashiach Mar Dagasham. If the shul didn't daven, then you do say it. Mutav shaloi loymar. Better not to say. This way you'll be yoytze according to everyone. If you're not sure what to do, then don't say it. That's very interesting. It's better not to say it. That's what the Mishnah said at the end of Sivkat and Gimel. Imta b'marav shel Pesach oy b'shachris umusaf, and you didn't say Mashiach Mar Dagasham, you don't have to go back, because even if you miss Mashiach Mar Dagasham and Mariv of the first night of Pesach, you wouldn't go back, because already Meikar Hadin, you stopped mentioning rain the first night. Okay. Sif Daled. Im Amar Moirid Hageshem b'Yimos Hachama. If you said Morid Hageshem in the rainy season, Machzir Nois, you have to go back. V'choizer l'roish habracha, and you go back to the beginning of the bracha. V'imsiyim habracha. So like this, you said Morid Hageshem in the summer, you have to go back and to the beginning of the bracha. And if you finished the bracha, you go back to the beginning of Shemona Esrei. Even if you're in a place where they need rain in the summer. In Hizker Geshem, if you mention rain, b'makam tal, instead of du, machzir noisi, you go back. B'cheinim Hizker Geshem v'tal. Likewise, if you mentioned rain and du, nami machzir noisi. Says the holy Mishnah Berura, b'yimais hachama, hainu, afilu b'yom rishon shepasek by. If even on the first day that they stopped mentioning rain, let's say on the first day of Pesach, by Musaf, if you mentioned Mashiach Mar Dagasham, or by Mincha, Dahainu b'Musaf Shiyam Tav Rishon Pesach for Nusach Svard La Mechaber L'Rama Davka b'Mincha, Ulashel Tzibur L'Kuli Yama Afilu b'Musaf Be'ez Shechoizer Atfilu b'Kol Ram. The Chazan, when he says the Tefillah b'Kol Ram, he also, if he says Mashiach Mar Dagasham, he would have to go back. How is the Chazan allowed to, in Musaf, on the first day of Sukkot, on the first day of Pesach, not say Mashiach Mar Dagasham? Who announced it for him? Who announced for the Chazan that he is allowed to not say Mashiach Mar Dagasham?
Isn't it Tefillah's Tal? That's the announcement.
What does he say? He says, Ki'atu Morid Hatal? So that's his announcement. Okay. So let's say he says, Ata Gibar Le'olam Hashem, Mechaye Mesim Ata Rav L'Hoshia. So why doesn't he have to say then, Mashiach Mar Dagasham? Not yet, because he's saying Tfilas Tal.
He is the announcement. Why is that a problem?
You're right, he's the announcement, but what do you mean he is the announcement? What's the announcement?
He's leading the tzibur and telling it this is now what we're changing to.
What is he saying?
He's omitting Mashiach Mar Dagasham.
But he's not allowed to.
Of course he's leading the tzibur.
You're allowed to make an announcement, but how do you daven Shemona Esrei? Saying you're allowed to use Shemona Esrei as a way not to. In his silent Shemona Esrei, he said it, right? In his silent Shemona Esrei, he said Mashiach Mar Dagasham.
He wasn't leading the tzibur in his silent Shemona Esrei. He was saying a private Shemona Esrei.
Okay, and now that he's saying a public Shemona Esrei,
It's his job as the chazan to lead the tzibur to now omit Mashiach.
you can't omit until there's a hachraza, and there is no hachraza, by the way. There's no hachraza in Musaf. There's no hachraza, is there? The hachraza is, what is the hachraza? Moed hatal? If that's the hachraza, then why can't we announce before the Shemana Esrei Moed hatal? Because we don't say Moed hatal, but we say it in the hachraza, so announce it before davening. Okay. So if you have to go back and you go to the beginning of the bracha. If you said Moed Hagasham, you go back to the beginning of the bracha, and the reason is the Geshamim Kashim Al Ma'asachama. Rain is bad for the world during the summer. By the way, even if you remember Toch Kedei Dibor, Rosh Zalman Paskins, and the Shevet HaLevi Paskins, there's no way to fix it. In other words, if you say Ata Gibar Le'el Hashem Mechayim Mesim Ata Rav L'Shia Mashrach Maragashem, and you remember Toch Kedei Dibor, now what do? You say, oh, nah, just joking? How do you change that? You're done. You're toast. There's no way to fix it. It's only Legabe saying Talumat Levracha B'Mais Hachama, the Bir Halacha says, B'di Eved Toch Kedei Dibor, meaning you go back and you say, that's Komanei Swasal Toiva, V'sein Bracha. Because a bakasha shaloi ba'inasa is not a klala, but a hazkara of geshamim is a klala, so there's no way to fix it. Rabbi Yosha says, yeah, why not? Just go back to the beginning. Say Atagira, say Mechayim Esim Ata Rav L'Shia, and say Moed Hatal.
Funny that a she'ila would be worse than, would be better than hachraza. You mentioning it is a praise of Hashem, but a she'ila is better. If you ask for something that it's a bad time, I think that's worse.
I hear, and Rabbi Yashiv says the way you're masaking it is you say Moed Hatal. But I daven Ashkenaz. Why would I say Moed Hatal? Because I messed up. I said Mashrach Hagashim. Why would ask? Why would you have to say Moed Hatal? Just go back and say say Mechayim Mesim Ata Rav L'Shia Mechalka Chaim B'Chesed. Why do you have to fix it by saying wrong words? Just fix it by omitting it.
It would be longer than Zakatei Dibor to say those, to go back.
No,
By the time you get back to that spot, it's what we have to say.
No, just say, you don't have to do just go back to Kedei Dibor to Mechayim Mesim Ata Rav L'Shia.
Mechayim Mesim Ata Rav L'Shia, it's in and of itself is longer than Zakatei Dibor.
That's okay. Once you start the process, Kedei Dibor, it should work. Maybe he means if you daven Nusach Svard. Okay, let's see. Okay, so if you made a mistake and you have to go back to the beginning of the bracha, but the Eved, if you didn't go back to the beginning of the bracha, only to Rav L'Hoshia, V'siyem berchasa loy madrina, you don't have to go back. V'im siyem habracha, if you already finished Mechaye HaMesim, Ayin b'prima gadim shekasav dahainu la'achar shamar baruch atah Hashem. After you said the words baruch atah Hashem, aval hasharet shuva chayadim kasvu, then no, that if you said baruch atah Hashem, you're not toast yet. It's only if you finish the bracha and you said Mechaye HaMesim, aval niskar la'achar Hashem, then yisayim lamdeni chukecha, kedei shaloi tiyel v'atala, v'imkein hu ki'ilu oimer adayin be'emtza habracha, v'choizel ata gibar. Meaning everyone says, if you said Mechaye HaMesim, you have to go back to the beginning of the bracha. But what if you didn't say Mechaye HaMesim? What if you just said Baruch Ata Hashem? The lashon of the mechaber is only if you finish the bracha. But if you didn't finish the bracha, maybe you could correct it by saying Baruch Ata Hashem lamdeni chukecha. And that's the opinion of the Shari Tshuva and the Chayyadim. But the Pri Megadim says that after you say Baruch Ata Hashem, you cannot go back and correct it with lamdeni chukecha. Now the Mishabura here is not machriya, but earlier on but in Sivkat and Lamed Beis later on, and the Bir Halach and Sivav, he does say that whenever you go back, if you just said Hashem's name, you could finish lamdeni chukecha. Okay. Choyzer l'rosh hatefila. Why do you have to go back to the beginning of the tefillah? B'hatam de gimel brachas rishonos chashuvas kachada. The first three brachas are considered like one. Ve'in tzarich lachzer v'loymar pasuk Hashem sefasai tiftach. And you don't have to go back and say the pasuk Hashem sefasai tiftach. Okay, but I'm not sure if somebody said Mashrach Mardag Hashem. So if Shlomo Zalman says there's no way to fix it. Rabbi Yashiv says you could go back Kedei Dibur and say Morid Hatol. Is that Dafka Morid Hatol, or can you also go back Rav L'Hoshia Mechalka Chaim Mechasen? Okay, Rabbi Yisai, have a great day. Bracha v'atzlacha. Kol tov.